All right, good evening, everybody. Just making sure we're recording. We are. So tonight, we're going to talk some business. And I think this is probably going to be a little bit different than most things that you've seen before. I'm hoping it is. I hope you learn a lot here. Real quick, a little bit about me. My name's Raak. My background's in IT. I had what I would call a pretty good job in the corporate world. I was there for 15 years, but it was one of those things that I got to the point where I was no longer excited about it. I wasn't feeling like I was providing value to the world. I didn't feel like I was fulfilling purpose in life. I was tired of being at somebody else's beck and call. I wanted control of my own time. I had to miss one of my best friend's wedding receptions. I literally had to, right after the wedding was over, I had to leave the event and I had to go and work for the rest of the night. I had to miss multiple kids' events, and I just got to the point where I said, enough is enough. I've got to find something different. And I fortunately found this. I found LifeVantage. And what I found was really for the first time in my life, I felt like I'd found my purpose. I felt like I had something that I was excited about where I could give and help others, where I could share something from my heart and ultimately build a team of people. And what I loved about it was that we could get paid on reoccurring sales numbers and growth, and just something that was it wasn't a totally new concept, because I'd been in real estate before, and I knew what residual income was, but not how you could build and leverage a team. And ultimately, my goal is to build a team that has 100,000 plus people in it. So that's a little bit about me, and I wanted to start with that and keep that in mind, because I'm going to touch back on that here as we get going. But let's go. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about business, and I want you to think about this. This is my opinion, but my opinion is the majority of people in network marketing focus either on selling products or they focus on who needs the business. Okay. When you're focusing on selling products, a lot of times you can chase people. I don't want you chasing people, okay? Share from your heart to share this with others. We've got amazing products. But I want you to think bigger than just selling products. And you need to, in order to be focused on the business and to bring in other business people, you need to be thinking bigger, and you need to speak bigger. And we'll get to that. But the other side of this is a lot of people focus on who need the business. And when you're focusing on who needs the business, a lot of times they need it for the wrong reasons, right? They need it because they can't get a job or they can't sustain a job, which ultimately a lot of times just means that they're probably going to struggle in this too. So let's dig further here. This is why a lot of people struggle to build big businesses, okay? So let me ask you a question. Would you rather enroll somebody who's going to enroll a few customers and maybe a distributor here and there? Or would you like to enroll someone that's going to help you build an empire, to help you change the lives of thousands and thousands of people? When you focus just on selling products, you're going to stay at that, at the top here. You're going to be more focused on just enrolling a few people. But when you focus on business and business-minded people, and that's really the key here, is business-minded people, then that's where you're going to have the opportunity to build something really big. That's where you can build a huge sales organization. The only way to build a huge sales organization is to talk about the business. Now, a lot of times people get scared talking about the business. They only want to talk about the product because that's their comfort. But again, in order to bring in other business people, you got to at least talk about the business, okay? Now, what I want you to also think about is recruiting other business owners and what I would call A players, those really successful people, because they're going to help you. They're going to help you bring in other successful people, and they're going to be thinking bigger. To do that, you have to elevate your language. You have to talk a little bit differently. With A players, you can't just talk about the business like it's a little side gig or it's just about a little extra money. You have to convey that it's really something where they can see the big picture, the potential of what we've got our hands on. Because I think we can all agree that we've got the one and only product that's been clinically proven to extend life. That's a pretty big deal, right? So with that then becomes, we have a huge business opportunity, and you've got to share that. You have to share what kind of an opportunity that creates. So why should you go after A players, after these, business owners and very successful people? They, they can really bring in massive amounts of people to your team. They have, they'll take less time and energy from you because they are successful, and they're going to have more confidence. I shouldn't get ahead of myself. They're oftentimes the leader that you're looking for. Generally speaking, they're going to be less skeptical. If you say, I've got something amazing, and you say it to somebody who's just used to working that 8-to-5 job, and you're saying, hey, I've got I've got a medical breakthrough, the one and only product that's clinically proven to extend life, it turns back aging by 40% in 30 days. That's where people are going to be like, and this is a huge business opportunity because we have the only product that can do that. Some people are going to be skeptical, but if you're talking with other business owners and A-type players that think business and think income, they're typically not. They're going to be more likely to take a risk. They're typically more self-motivated and have higher levels of belief in themselves. They usually have influence and power. And so with that will mean when they share this with other people will jump on just because, well, if they're doing it, I'm in, right? And typically they're high performers, and they'll perform high at whatever they do. So who are these type of people? Typically, they're the most successful people you know, which is probably why you either haven't thought of them or you're avoiding them, okay? And I want to help you tonight to move past that. An A player typically has a great amount of influence socially, and they're admired in their peer groups. They're traditional business owners, that have a different mindset than traditional employees. They're high income earners, and they're considered to be successful. So I want you to think about and even create that chicken list if you haven't already. And I'm going to give you some things that you can say to them here tonight that will help you go after that chicken list. A players are typically well-liked. They have a great personality, charisma, and they have huge networks of other people because of this. Now, here's why we typically think wrongly about A players. Here's what we think wrongly about A players. They have the same problems quite often as everybody else, just sometimes it's at a higher level. Financial issues, they can have more money, but they also have a tendency to increase their lifestyle at the same level, and then they continue to just fight the same battles as everybody else. It's possible to be broke at a higher level, right? They can be drowning financially, even though they're making $10,000, $12,000, $20,000 a month. They can still be broke, and they can still be looking for something else. Oftentimes, A players, business people, if it's in the corporate world, they are at high risk of being downsized or fired. Let's face it, when you're in that corporate world, if you're earning top dollar, there's board meetings and other people literally talking about whether they can replace you with 2 kids out of college, right? So they're at risk. And they struggle with job fulfillment, quite honestly, because they're so driven and so focused on what they do that they don't really have that purpose. And that was kind of what I go back to my story. That's where I was. So when we're talking to A players, we need to talk a little bit differently. And this comes with how we talk about the business. Offer an A player a better vehicle to put their time and talent into. Our business opportunity is a vehicle to help an A player to get their time and financial freedom faster than what they can in the typical business model or climbing that corporate ladder. Speak to an A player about increasing their income without sacrificing their lifestyle. Okay, that's big because typically they're a driven person that want to increase that income, but they're already busy and they're already gone a lot. They don't want to give up more of their time. A players, often have a lot of nice things, but they might not have the time freedom to enjoy that. You've got to appeal to an A player's need to matter in the world. Okay, I spoke a little bit about that earlier where, again, they're very driven people, possibly very successful, but they might be seeking that purpose. Appeal to their need to have true purpose and do something that they can impact the lives of other people. Here's a question. Ask an A player or a business owner what legacy they're leaving behind or that they want to leave behind. Get them thinking about that. With A players, you can't talk about the business opportunity like a side gig or a little bit of extra money. You have to convey it in a way that helps them see the full potential, the big picture. So how do we talk to A players? First, we need to create our why story, okay? And this comes straight from Eric Worre. You need to talk about your background, talk about what you didn't like about it, the solution, and how you feel about the future, okay? Now notice I started off tonight's training with those exact things. I talked about my background. I worked in IT, a corporate job for 15 years. I didn't like about it. I didn't like that I had to spend all this time away from my family. Somebody else is in control of my time. Somebody else is in control of my income. All that stuff. That's what I didn't like. I found the solution, right? This is what it is. And I'm excited because we're helping people and we're building this big organization. When you need to create that little story right there for yourself and share that with people. Then invite people with that story. So how do we invite? Personally, I like the opinion approach when we're going after business-minded people and A players. So this would be an example. Hey, Joe, can you do me a favor? I could really use your help. As long as they say yes or okay, right? Then we go with that story. I've worked in IT for 15 years, and this needs to be short, okay? You got to keep the story short. Worked in IT for 15 years, blah, 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 right? And now I've started, and now we get into what we're excited about. I've started a project, I've started a business that I'm really excited about, and I'd like to get your opinion. I need someone that I can trust to give me honest feedback. So this is really just kind of, indirect. I really value and respect your opinion when it comes to things like this, okay? So we shared with them our story, hoping that they will relate to that. And now we're just sharing that we're excited about something and we just want their opinion. Now we set up a time to explain further. So Joe, can we set up a short call or can we go for lunch or when can we meet? How soon can we meet? So I can give you a better understanding of exactly what I'm looking for to see if you know of anyone that comes to mind. By the way, it's an extremely lucrative opportunity for the right person. Okay, you catch that verbiage right there? It's an extremely lucrative opportunity for the right person. That right there is a way to, that's a different verbiage than what most of you are probably using. If they ask questions, okay, let's give them a little. Let's tease them a little bit. I'm working with a $200 million wellness company that has the only all-natural product that's been proven to reduce the aging process by 40% in 30 days. It's even been proven to extend life. And I'm looking for someone to help me build, train, and develop sales organizations on a local, regional, and national level. Do you feel that? See how we're thinking differently and how we're giving a different message there, how we're giving a business message of, that's pretty cool, right? Are you thinking right now of that, are you focused on building, training, and developing sales organizations? Because whether you like it or not, that is what we do. I don't like to really think of myself as a salesperson, but that's what we're doing. We're building sales organizations. So if you share that with somebody, that's going to catch a business person's attention. That's going to catch an A player's attention versus they probably don't want to be sitting somewhere night after night after night being like a pill pusher. I heard that all the time years ago. I don't want to be a pill pusher. Well, if you use this type of verbiage with someone, they're not going to feel like, oh, this is another one of those pill pushing things, right? I'm looking for someone, I'm going to give you about 4 examples here. I'm looking for someone with a sales training and management background to help me build, train, and develop sales organizations. I'm looking for a front of the room type person, preferably somebody with speaking experience. I'm not looking for someone to just sell products to family and friends. I want someone who understands the big picture of what's possible to get paid on an overriding residual commission on everything that we create. At the end of the day, Susan, and I said Joe, but we'll go with Susan now, this may or may not be for you, but I'm looking for someone who knows what they're worth, not just looking for a paycheck. Someone who's looking for the right vehicle to allow them to build a long-term, successful, fulfilling career. So now, how do we explain network marketing? I basically explain network marketing as we simply connect buyers to a seller. We partnered with a company, you guys are all partnered with a company that has the only product clinically proven to extend life. It's the only product that can turn back or fight aging by 40% in 30 days, right? We connect people who want to live longer, that want to live healthier, to the company that has that product. It's not really any different than Uber. If you think about Uber, they're connecting somebody who has a car to somebody who needs a ride. It's not any different than Airbnb. Somebody who has a room, they have a house that has extra space, to somebody who needs a place to stay. Amazon, they've got products, somebody's looking for products, right? It's the same stuff. We just have a one-of-a-kind product. How do you explain LifeVantage? Amazing one-of-a-kind products. Pretty simple, huge opportunity. I'm trying to keep this as simple as I can, because I want you to be able to be thinking more about when it comes to the business of big picture, right? Show the earnings statement, show your vision, and what other people have been able to. If you're not where you want to be yet, show if you don't have quite your vision or believe in what you're doing, right? I remember my vision, I said, we're going to help 100,000 people with these products. Well, if you don't quite have that, then share on that earnings statement. Be like, hey, I'm partnered with Sean and Michelle Poe, and they're at this level 9 making, according to the earnings statement, 40-some thousand a month, right? Show them that and what is possible there. At the end of the day, here's what I want you to keep in mind. A players and business people are really they're really no different than you or me. They're just people, right? They also have problems, and they are looking for solutions. You just simply got to sort through them, find out who resonates with your story, and then find out who's open to learning more. And that is how I would recommend that you really focus on the business side of this. There's always people that need our products from the health side. This is more about how to focus on the business and how to focus on finding business builders to really, again, build that big, huge organization. So with that, Jillyn, if you are ready, I'm going to introduce Jillyn, because she's going to talk a little more about products here. This was the business side. Jillyn, let me hear you when you're ready. Oh, here, I better stop my sharing.
I am here if you can hear me.
I can. So let me introduce Jillyn Fisher real quick. Jillyn was a respiratory therapist for the last 13 years. She recently quit her job at a level 1 trauma center to stay home with her 4 children. She lives on a farm, homeschools her kids, and loves educating people on what these products can do for their health and for their lives. She hit the pro rank in 120 days. How awesome is that? And is now being as passionate about network marketing and the products we have our hands on. So with that, Jillyn, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Ryan, thank you. Oh my goodness, I was taking notes. I had 2 pages of notes and now I have 4. So I have 10 minutes to go. So thank you so much for being on this training. I hope that we give you value. That is the whole purpose of us being here. So thank you for taking the time to be here. Like Ryan said, I am a respiratory therapist. I loved what I did at the hospital. I am not a doctor, but I put tubes down people's throats and I kept them alive on ventilators, AKA life support, for 13 years. So I loved what I did. I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie, but I'm going to kind of talk to you about Nrf2 activation. And I'm going to really keep it super, super simple, because I think we can a lot of times, like Ryan was talking about with the business, get too complicated in how we talk about this. Not everybody is a medical professional, and not everybody cares that Nrf2 activation goes to the nucleus of the cell and it says, hey, upregulate glutathione and SOD and catalase, and let's blow this up internally instead of taking antioxidants externally. So a lot of people don't care about that, but we all know that Nrf2 activation is what Washington State University said, potentially the most therapeutic preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. Okay, so that is kind of the key component that has been hitting me in my business lately. So I'm going to talk about that. A lot of times people are like, I'm gonna try it. You hear that a lot? Maybe it's just me. I'm gonna try it and see if it works for me, right? That's a big thing we hear. And I think the key component to that is education. And I might never be asked to speak on one of these calls again by saying this, but this is what I tell every single person that tells me that. That's awesome. If you plan to take this for 1 month, I would rather you save your money. I would rather you not spend your money today on this product. Yes, you will reduce oxidative stress 40% in that first 30 days. You will. But say your oxidative stress level is here and healthy and good is here. If you reduce it 40%, I hope you can see me because otherwise this won't make any sense. But say you reduce it 40%, you're going to be here. Okay, we need time. Our body needs time to heal and to repair. And that's the biggest thing people don't understand. This is that paradigm shift from supplementing to activating. We need to focus on the fact that Nrf2 activation is the most therapeutic preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. Everybody wants to know, will this work for me? Just like Ryan was talking about, the business side of this. Will this work for me? Can I do this? That's what people want to know. And so when people say, you know, they bring up things like, yes, with stroke, MI, myocardial infarction, you talk about any disease processes, chronic inflammation, all of these things, yes. Will this work for me? Yes. Yes. Bottom line, yes. This will work for you. Nrf2 activation will work for you. This is the only product in the world, supplement proven to extend life by 7%. That's 5 human years. Okay, that's a big deal. So when people have these questions, it's an education standpoint of, you know, me, honestly, I get it. I get it. I was not convinced. I didn't even take a look at the research. I started taking these products because I was desperate. I was having 5 migraines a week and I was pregnant. Okay, that's a big deal. You can't take prescription migraine medication when you're pregnant. So I was desperate. So I said, okay, give me the ingredients. I'll research them. I'll see if I'm okay with taking these while I'm pregnant, and I'll do it. And yes, I wanted to see the benefits of that. So never negate that with people, but understand that we need to educate people when they see those benefits. And even if they don't see those benefits right away, it may take time. You know, I tell people, if you're not willing to commit to taking these products for 3 months, don't waste your money. That's probably not a really good business tactic, but I want people on these products because I know what they do in people's bodies. I know what they do, and I need you to give this the time to do that. Your body didn't develop a disease process. It didn't develop a problem in the span of 30 days. It's not going to fix a problem in the span of 30 days. You will notice things if you have a significant problem going on in that time period, but you know, my parents, they're older than I am. They had less issues going on than I did. And it took 10 months for them to even notice that they're sleeping better, okay? Preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. I think that's a key thing. We are talking about the cellular level of our body here. Nrf2 activation will affect over 250 disease processes. It affects, you know, 250 of our genes that express themselves in our body. So we need to make sure that people are educated on that. Nrf2 activation, you know, this is something, you know, as a new person in this business, yes, I am from the medical world, and so I did my research. I knew what Nrf2 activation is, but I will tell you, you start throwing words like glutathione, SOD, catalase at people, they're gonna glaze over. unless they are in the medical field. They will glaze over, be like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why it's beneficial to me, so I don't care. So we need to really be clear. Okay, your body is being bombarded by free radicals. This is what's happening in your cells. Your Nrf2 pathway wakes up. It's like that dimmer switch in your body. It wakes up, it goes to the nucleus of the cell and says, hey, we're being bombarded by free radicals. Please help. And so your body produces these magnificent things, these magnificent antioxidants that are so much more potent than what we can take externally. We can take vitamin C, but it is not as potent, it is not as effective as a molecule of vitamin C. We know this, right? One molecule of vitamin C is going to kill 1 million free radicals before it's used up and can't be used again. One molecule of vitamin C is going to kill 1 free radical, 1 to 1. That's not good, right? That's not great odds. Okay, you would have to just spend a ridiculous amount of money on vitamin C to get the same effect of what Nrf2 activation does in our body. So we need to remember that. Glutathione is we call Nrf2 the master regulator of our cells. It's the messenger protein that goes to the nucleus and turns on our body to take care of itself. That's why we say, this is not a miracle pill. But when our body is given what it needs, it can do amazing and miraculous things. And that's what we're doing. At the age of about 20, that dimmer switch starts to go down. That Nrf2 activation starts to go down. And we want that to stay up. That's what we call the aging process, right? So when people ask us that question, I mean, they may not say, will this work for me? They won't. But when they're asking you the question of, I have inflammation. My brother had a stroke. Will this help him? Absolutely. Do you want a 300% increase in glutathione? You need to be on Protandim Nrf2 activation immediately after a stroke. I learned that from Dr. Sveta. She's amazing. Okay, it is so important when it comes to the brain. I'm a respiratory therapist. I don't like blue people. I don't like it when people don't get oxygen to their cells. When they don't get oxygen to their cells, those cells start to die, and they die very quickly. So we need to get oxygen back in them fast. That's what glutathione does. Okay, so that goes into the cells quickly. Your body has that upregulation really fast after a traumatic event. It does, but it can't sustain that. So we need Nrf2 activation in all of those situations. Okay, so free radicals, they cause damage to our cells. Large amounts of free radicals produce oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is the root cause of over 200 disease processes. So that's the root of what we're trying to get to, is people are always wanting to know, will this help me? Will this help my loved family member? The answer to that question is yes. So when you're new in this business, and even now, I still use that third-party validation in this, because I can say the same thing to somebody, and I get somebody else on the phone who has no medical training whatsoever, and they say the same thing I said, and the person on the phone says, oh, okay, I get that. I didn't understand that. I didn't get that. I've never been told that. Ooh, yes, you have been told that, but they will listen to somebody else. So it's a huge component. So one of the things I've been doing in my business is cold calling. Okay, I have this weird thing. I worked at a level 1 trauma center for 13 years. So it's not super far outside of my comfort zone, but ever so slightly. Talking to people you don't know is outside of your comfort zone no matter what. But I am cold calling chiropractic offices because I know they're into health and wellness. And that's terrifying. It's ever so slightly terrifying. But I'm going to give you a quick script on what I say. I know it's 9 o'clock. But what I tell these people when I pick up the phone and I call them is, you have to have the posture. You have to have the posture that you have something that they want to hear about. You have to pique their interest. You have to make it, you don't give them everything. You give them just enough that they want to listen to what you have to say. They say, I am bringing a natural product into the blank area. For me, it's Newton. I'm bringing this product into the Newton area. And it is the only supplement in the world proven to extend life by 7%. I know you're a chiropractic office, and I know you treat the entire body as a whole. This is something you need to hear about, and I would love to tell you about it. When are you free? In the next 5 days for me to come in for 30 minutes and tell you about it. It might not be for you, and I'm okay with that. But you need to hear about this, and I want to be the one to tell you. Okay, that's a big deal. People understand posture. Whether you feel it or not, borrow it from somebody else. If you have to call somebody and say, I'm terrified out of my mind, then call somebody and say, I'm terrified out of my mind, and then make the phone call with the posture that I have something that will help and benefit you, because that is what we have with Nrf2 Activation. That is what we have with the products that we have to offer people. And so when you go to people, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to know every detail. But if you have the posture of, I have something that can benefit you, and if I can't get your questions answered, I will find somebody that can. They appreciate honesty. People love real. People hate fake. They love real, and they can sense out fake within 100 miles. So this is a platform, what we have with network marketing. It's a platform. We can reach so many more people when we are working as a team together. I only have a list of so many people that Nrf2 Activation can help. But when I'm talking to this chiropractic office and I'm talking to this doctor's office, I have a huge doctor team of osteopathic doctors who looked at the science and research of this and were blown away. Okay, that built my belief. And they take these products and love it. Okay, so build that belief in what we have our hands on, both from the business side and the product side. I was sold on the products long before the business, long before network marketing. Network marketing was honestly why I wouldn't do this business for the longest time. But when you dive into what we can accomplish, when we have a group of people, you have a wider range and a wider reach to help other people than you ever would by yourself. So use those people that you have access to and bless the majority of people that you can, as opposed to just, your list of 200. That'd be great to bless every single one of them. But we know what we have our hands on with this. Have that posture that we have something to offer to the world. And I hope this training was beneficial to you. Thank you so much for being on. I can turn it back to Ryan. I know that was a ton of information. I want to keep, the science and what these products do in our body to not a minimum, but to understandable standards for anybody to get. Because I think that's one of the biggest hangups in this business is we don't know what to say. You don't have to know what to say. You just have to share from your heart what you love about these products and get somebody on the phone for that third-party validation, and you'll be awesome. So thank you for having me on this.
Thanks, Jillyn. You were awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks for being on, everybody. Well, have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.